Join me today as we talk about BattleTech updates for early May and late April 2025. This is the Geek Cabal channel. In case you've not been here before, my name is Bobbie, and today we're going to be talking about the late April, early May updates for BattleTech. This mainly has to do with Catalyst Game Labs, their products, things like that. So, first, sorry for being late. Catalyst didn't really update. They had conventions and stuff until pretty late in April, and then I've had a lot of things going on personally where I couldn't get everything set up here. So, yeah, here we go. There's going to be some new. This first I'm going to talk about was in the most recent email update, but then some other things have happened, and I'll talk about them after that. So if you've been to the email part, fast forward, stick around. I'll try to put some timestamps in. Hopefully that'll do it. So, in case you didn't see my video on it, they announced BattleTech Gothic, which is an alternate timeline product. There's a whole like 70-page primer on it out there, and that will be in the box set, and there will be a box set. It's supposed to be available for Gen Con, but with the current situations with the tariffs and everything, who knows? If it is, I intend on picking one up, and I'll show it to you then. So, and it's, it's got maps and, I think a fairly complete set of rules because it's meant to be a standalone product. And they've announced that there will be some other alternate universe things. They mentioned like a 1950s style, like rockets and ray guns kind of deal. And the other is anime inspired. We'll see where those go. So, and I've got a whole video on it if you want to check that out. And once I get finished reading the primer, I'm going to do a video on it. So, Lauren Coleman, the CEO of Catalyst, also published a very lengthy article about the tariffs and the whole situation and explaining some misconceptions people have based on his years and years of experience in the business. I linked to it in a previous post that I made here on YouTube, but I'll link to it down in the description here as well. It's worth a read. Then, for April, the new stuff that should be out on the Catalyst website and elsewhere, we have the Battlefield Support Recon and Hunter Lances. Those are going to be vehicles. Battlefield Support Objectives, also vehicles. That's the one that has the artillery piece in it. The Inner Sphere Heavy Recon Lance. Those will be battle mechs. Legendary Mech Warriors 2. Now, unlike the first Legendary Mech Warriors from the Clan Invasion Kickstarter, these are meant to be kept in production. Those were, I think those are all sold through now for Legendary Mech Warriors 1. The Battle Mat Savannah River Delta. So that's not the paper maps, that's the neoprene kind of mouse pad kind of texture maps. The salvage box for the Savannah Masters. I've done an unboxing on those. Those are hovercraft. And then there's 2 of them in there, I believe, or 4. I think there's 4 because you can double them up on the bases. And then the salvage box for the Blood Asp, which is a clan mech, and I did an unboxing on that. And then BattleTech, The Art of Food. It's a BattleTech themed cookbook. I've heard mixed things about that. I haven't personally read through it, but I have a digital copy of it, I do believe, from the Kickstarter. So then there was a free fiction story for April, and again I made a post about that. It's Fallen Angels. Now, the free stories are only up for a month. So this now being May, that story is no longer up. I don't know if that's going to be collected anywhere. I don't know how that all works. But there is a different free story up now, and I will get to that here in just a moment. But before I do, there are some new novels. The novel Blood Will Rise, which is the latest novel about Danae, Laos, and Treya, and the efforts on the Lao front of the war against the, well, I guess against the new Star League now. Then Shrapnel Volume, Fortunes of War Volume 2 came out. Those are, I think there's 2 different stories in there, and in part 1 they're collected. I believe those were from the Mercenaries Kickstarter, so if you back that, you might already have those in digital. Shrapnel number 20, that's the magazine with a bunch of short stories. Honor Code, that one I'm not so sure on. And then Fall from Glory is available in audiobook format. So, the other new short story, let's see here, it's going to take me just a second. Now that we're in May, the free short story is Objective Raid by Russell Zimmerman, and it looks like it's going to involve the Ghost Bears based on the artwork on the cover. I haven't read it yet, but you should definitely download it, and I'll get a link, put it down there in the description if you're not going to read it immediately, because, well, it's only available through May. Not me, the month of May. Yeah. So those are like all the product releases from April. So sometime before the end of this month, we'll probably have another update that'll have the product releases from May. And we're getting close to having all the stuff from the Kickstarter out. And there are other new things that are coming into play, like the House Davian Cavalry Lance. And there's another House Davian set. I believe House Kirita sets are supposed to be the next faction theme sets that are coming out. So, beyond that, the big BattleTech news, well, just briefly, since the Gen Con event ticketing and all that stuff now, if you're going to Gen Con, all the ticketing and everything is up now, so you can search through the BattleTech events, and there's like 150 some odd. So now, mind you, that's a lot of those are the grinders, and the how to play Alpha Strike and how to play regular, which they've got different names for them. Those aren't the official names. It's like the boot camp and something else. But there's also like other actual events. And last year I did an event put on by the Ottawa Red Wings. I had to leave early, but I liked the event. If I have the time, I'm going to try to do one this year with them. I just don't know if it's going to happen. But those were fun. So if you're going to be at Gen Con, you want something to do, I advise you to check those out. So the other big news is that Catalyst Games has bought Iron Wind Metals. And so I don't know what all that actually means, to be totally honest. I assume they're going to maintain production of the metal mix and the other things that Iron Wind Metals makes. Because I was given to understand from what someone told me years ago, their main source of income is actually not BattleTech or any of the other things. I think it's actually like the metal pieces they use in Monopoly games or something like that. I don't know how accurate that was at the time or now, but that's what I was told. So I don't know if they're going to maintain, if they're going to keep the facility in Ohio. I believe it's in Cincinnati. It might be in Columbus, but I think it's Cincinnati. Or if they're going to move it to Washington, where the rest of their staff and everyone is. So that remains to be seen. This does give them an avenue to sell miniatures outside of the tariff situation. I mean, they'll be metal, but, you know, unless they intend on investing in the facility and in putting plastic injection molding machines in there. I don't know how intensive that would be. I'm assuming it would be quite expensive. Plus there's a learning curve. Plus, can they keep up with production? Although I have seen one person put forth a suggestion that what they'll do is they'll still produce all the miniatures in China and anything else they need to, and then anything they can produce in the US they will, and they'll send it all there to be assembled, which will lower the tariff amount, because then you're talking, you're not even talking a finished product, so the amount that's been put into it is far less, so the amount so its value is less, because the tariffs are based on the value of the item, not the expected retail value later on, but what you spent up to that point. So I don't know if doing that outweighs the tariff cost or not. Plus, just today they announced that they're dropping back to something like 30% tariffs. So it's a highly dynamic situation. It could literally just be because the folks who run Iron Wind want to retire, and the folks from Catalyst don't have anything against Iron Wind, don't consider them a competitor or anything, and are going to absorb it into the rest of the business. I don't know if that means we're going to see the metal mechs on Catalyst's web store, if they're going to merge all that together. That would make the most sense to me, but I don't know if that actually makes sense from Catalyst's perspective. Yeah, I know at least so far this year, their booths are still going to remain separate at Gen Con because they just released that. And also they just announced this like a couple days ago. So it was too late really to stop all those plans. But going forward, I don't know if they're going to have one single booth or how they're going to do that. I'm hoping to be able to ask some people at Gen Con. If any folks from Catalyst happen to see this, by the way, I'd love to interview some people. And it doesn't have to be on video, just a few minutes of your time, just to pick your brain about where some of these things are going that you can talk about, because I know that, corporate level, you don't want to say certain things. You got competitors and yada, yada, yada. I get it. But anyway, so that's the other big news on the BattleTech front. That's all we got for this month. Well, for the beginning part of this month, presumably there'll be something towards the end, plus things keep randomly popping up. On the BattleTech front recently, I did a short lore video about the Kentaris massacre, and I've done a few book reviews recently. Got an unboxing, going to be filming here probably right after this, so it'll be out sometime soon. Going to check out the short story. If I can make some comments on it without just reading the story, because they're usually really short, I'll throw together a video for that. And I'm slowly working my way through the first issue of Shrapnel that I've had for a while now, but just haven't gotten into it. And yeah, so once Chad and I have our schedules for Gen Con hammered out, there'll be a video about that, which will definitely include some BattleTech stuff, if you want to sit through that. But anyway, that's all I've got. So if you like what you saw here, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting would help us grow the channel. I always appreciate it. Subscribers, obviously, that's the metric of success here on YouTube. But yeah, just remember, this being BattleTech, no guts, no galaxy.